Right now on this final day of school in the Madison district, how someone to make sure students have a safe space during these summer months. Also a look at the troubles at the prison in Waupun after staff members are arrested, including the warden. A legal expert weighs in on what it means for the Wisconsin prison system as a whole. And honoring heroes who stormed the beaches of Normandy 80 years later on this anniversary of the turning point in World War II, D-Day. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. It is now officially summer break for students in the Madison Metropolitan School District, but at one school, parents say they won't stop from holding the district accountable. Our Maddie Heimsch sits down with those parents to hear what they have to say.
This 18-page letter signed by dozens of Southside Elementary parents alleges the school's administrative team creates an unsafe and unhealthy environment for the school's pre-K through 5th graders. The letter alleges students coming home with scratches and bruises from unaddressed classroom violence, exclusionary discipline, and a lack of communication between administration and parents.
I had parents who had no idea this was happening to their kid. So I'm like, ask your baby, is this something they had to go through?
Parents Burnett Reed and Andrea Shorter-Amos say Southside is filled with great teachers.
Her teacher texted me and said, hey, I would like to have a conversation with you, which I thought was phenomenal. Her teacher did reach out, but then when it came to the administration, it's like total disregard.
Shorter-Amos says her daughter has an individualized education plan, the details of which have gone ignored by school staff.
My daughter at the district board meeting broke down in tears, and that shattered me. I felt like I dropped the ball there as a parent because I wasn't there for a lot of things that happened to my baby in that school.
The letter demands both the principal and assistant principal be removed from their positions, as well as new disciplinary and communication plans be put in place.
And I don't foresee her coming back to Southside next year just because it's not, to me, it's not safe.
We reached out to school officials for comment, but have not yet heard back. In a statement Wednesday, MMSD wrote, quote, "We were made aware of this parent and community member complaint yesterday and are in the process of addressing all of its claims, which we take seriously." Reporting in Madison, Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Well, Maddie, thank you. A live look at the Beltline at Rimrock Road during this rush hour. For the first time, what feels like forever, a clear day across southern Wisconsin with comfortable temperatures across the viewing area. A little breezy out there. But for more, let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Meteorologist Jacob Madison is out on the weather patio. Jacob?
Yeah, the big story today has been the winds. I'm not sure if it's picking up on my microphone, but the winds just behind me as they hit the trees pretty loudly, honestly. And if we look at the current wind speeds, we are seeing those winds up to if not exceeding 20 miles per hour for a few locations. Now, the winds have actually calmed down a bit over the last hour or so. We did have a few locations, or far more locations over 20 miles per hour than we do right now, but still seeing some breezy conditions nonetheless. Wind gusts are up to 30 miles per hour, but they are going to calm down throughout the evening, and by the time we get to the overnight hours, we're not going to see them as breezy, but the winds are going to pick back up for your Friday, especially during the morning hours, but we may continue to see breezy conditions throughout a good portion of the day. But then as we get to the weekend, the winds are going to calm down, and they're likely going to remain rather calm going forward. We typically don't see windy days like this in June, but today was an exception. Now, looking at the current temperatures, right now around 70 degrees, so it has been very comfortable, but still below average for this time of the year. And temperatures will remain what they were today for the next several days. So looking at your evening forecast, temperatures are going to drop into the 60s for the entire region, but we are going to remain clear, and the winds are going to calm down over the next few hours. Now, I'll talk more in detail about your weekend forecast coming up a bit later, and there is some rainfall in the forecast. The details are still to come.
All right, Jacob, thank you. 2 people are in jail after stealing a vehicle in the town of Pleasant Springs. That's just north of Stoughton. Dane County Sheriff's deputies say they got a call about 7:15 yesterday about a stolen vehicle from a home on Kinney Road. Fortunately, the owner knew where the vehicle was thanks to an Apple AirTag in that vehicle. Sheriff's deputies and Madison police tracked the van down to a liquor store on North Sherman Avenue in Madison, where the suspects were arrested. Continuing our coverage now out of Dodge County, as the former warden at Waupun Correctional and 8 of his employees are out of jail today on a signature bond. Warden Randall Hepp was charged in connection with the 1 death at the prison. The employees are facing charges for 2 deaths. Meanwhile, the Dodge County Sheriff is still investigating those and 2 other deaths that have occurred since June of 2023. But it doesn't stop there. A lawsuit is still pending as inmates have come out saying the living conditions are cruel. UW law professor, prison expert Cecilia Kringle says bringing charges against a prison's top official isn't unheard of, but will certainly shed light on the issues in Wisconsin's prison system.
a lot of this likely has to do with discretion and discretionary decision making. I think that often prosecutors in cases like this are torn between demanding appropriately accountability for real harm.
Well, the former Secretary of the Department of Corrections, Kevin Carr, announced his retirement just days after the Dodge County Sheriff says he called him about concerns at the prison. Carr was not charged in connection with the deaths, but lawmakers at the Capitol today had tough words for the former DOC Secretary Carr. This was at a meeting of the legislature's Budget Writing Committee. Spring Green Senator Howard Markline spoke to reporters beforehand.
This starts at the top. And, I guess I'm not totally surprised that Secretary Carr resigned. I think, I know in the Senate we had some serious concerns about his leadership. Discuss it in the next budget.
Well, the Budget Committee also approved a separate request from the Department of Corrections today, $4 million for community reentry centers. Looking ahead now, at 5 this Saturday will mark 40 years since the deadly tornado that hit Barneveld. The F5 tornado, that's what they were registered back then. It hit shortly before 1 in the morning, killing 9 people. It injured close to 200, and the damages exceeded $25 million. A village of just 400 people at the time has since tripled in size since 1984. Tonight at 6 and 10, we look at how the community has recovered and grown since then. Today marks the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion at Normandy. The operation remains the largest military invasion by sea in history. And we have our own ways to remember this milestone right here in Madison. Our photojournalist Chris Hallbaker visited the Wisconsin Veterans Museum to hear how they're reconnecting with Wisconsin's heroes.
80 years ago, the Allied troops landed on the coast of Normandy. There were over 100,000 Allied troops that would land by the end of the day. What we know today as is D-Day. But this is just the beginning. June 6, 1944 is just a single day. The Battle of Normandy takes 3 months. What we're trying to do is show that humanity behind the history. Here at the museum, we believe that every veteran is a story. Wisconsin was there, and this still matters. So we want to take it down to the personal level. We want to look at not the arrows moving on a map, but the people that are actually represented by those arrows. Because this single day in history has all of these different accounts. The red flags on the map are the 46 that died on June 6, 1944 from the state of Wisconsin. The blue flags are just a little sample of what we have in our collection of a couple of those accounts. So looking at their experience through that human lens, not the statistical, not the overarching grand historical narrative, but looking at it through the individual experience, then we can relate to it much easier. We grew up perhaps seeing Saving Private Ryan or watching Band of Brothers or talking to a family member that experienced it. The newer generations or the recent generations haven't gotten that opportunity. What we challenge everyone is not to simply regurgitate, but to just understand, to empathize. Because in the end, everyone has their story. Everyone deserves to be remembered. And that's what we try and do here at the Veterans Museum.
And thanks to our own Chris Hallbaker for putting that piece together. The exhibit at the museum runs through August. For more information, just search WISC Vets Museum. Well, next tonight at 5, artificial intelligence continues to make its way into industries really all across the world now. And people in many different professions are guiding how it can be used. And that includes the healthcare industry. A UW Health group of nurses is launching a pilot program to chart the course of how AI should be used when interacting with patients. The program is a generative AI that nurses are currently using to draft responses to patient questions.
It's a nice, just kind of general rough draft and start of a response to a patient. And then I go, as a nurse, go through and just make sure all of the information and recommendations that we are sending to the patient is appropriate for that specific patient.
The program is already being used by 75 nurses at UW Health and has already reduced the burden of administrative work in hospitals. Taking care of a baby is time-consuming, can be exhausting, and it requires a lot of necessities that can really run through a budget. And that's why today SSM Health once again partnered up with Babies and Beyond of Wisconsin to help provide items to Madison's newest community members. This morning, a donation drive was held to try and get as many items as possible. The free program helps women who are pregnant and parents of children from birth to age 4.
So there's lots of different ways that you can help. So if you already have children and you have supplies
we accept gently used items. So if your children are outgrowing their baby clothes and supplies, you can donate those to us. Or you can donate.
We apologize for the audio issues with that clip. The donation takes place every month, and the organization says the necessary items are things like diapers and formula, and they are also accepting donations of gently used baby clothes and supplies from members of the community. If you'd like to help, just head to their website at babiesandbeyond.org. Still to come on News 3 Now at 5, we'll be back with a complete look at the forecast with Jacob as we start focusing on the weekend and why an early stretch of brutally hot weather in the triple digits, particularly out west, has climate scientists very concerned. And mixed numbers in Thursday trading on Wall Street. The Dow jumps 79, the Nasdaq down 15, the S&P 500 closes off 1 point as both pull back from Wednesday's record high closings. And we'll be right back.
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Get power when and where you need it with Generac portable generators. This portable inverter generator has a compact and lightweight design for easy storage and a built-in handle for easy transportation. Save over $90 after rebate. This gas generator comes with heavy-duty wheels and a large capacity fuel tank for more power that lasts longer. Save over $100 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, I'm Emmy Fink with Buzzed In Madison. We love the month of June because we get to celebrate the dairy industry and all of our great dairy farmers around this area. Join us all month. Blue Star Dairy, that's who we're going to see first, right here on WISC TV3.
Trust your feet to Morgan's Shoes.
Birkenstock ushers in a new collection with clean lines, easier than ever closures, and the most necessary footbed in your closet. Slide into Morgan's Shoes and shop our new Birkenstock arrivals. See what's fresh for spring and summer. Birkenstock platforms and wedges, cork-powered sneakers, or up your game with our iconic men's and women's sandals.
Comfort with style. Trust your feet to Morgan Shoes.
Morgan's Shoes, Hilldale.
We're looking for 200 homeowners this month interested in getting new landscape borders. Our cutting-edge materials and installation process ensures that your borders will not fade, discolor, or disconnect and will look beautiful for years to come. All covered by our extensive lifetime warranty. Visit the website or call the number for your new borders today.
This is where all your dreams come true. You are the Moulin Rouge!
Madison's most spectacular night out is Moulin Rouge, the musical. Winner of 10 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. The New York Times calls it dazzling, gasp-inspiring. In Moulin Rouge, life is beautiful. Performances begin July 9th at Overture Center. Tickets at overture.org.
From midnight tweets to drinking bleach to tear-gassing citizens and staging a photo op, we knew Trump was out of control when he was president. Then he lost the 2020 election and snapped, desperately trying to hold on to power. Now he's running again, this time threatening to be a dictator, to terminate the Constitution.
If I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Trump wants revenge, and he'll stop at nothing to get it.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
And they still took him in. Understaffed, overpopulated, locked down.
4 inmates lost their lives at Waupun Correctional Institution. We'll hear from one of the family members as they grapple with what happened. That's tonight at 6.
There's still time to register for the More Than Pink Walk for breast cancer research. Log on to channel3000.com/Komen. Be part of the movement to raise money, celebrate survivors, and honor loved ones.
You're watching News 3 Now, voted Station of the Year 2023 by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
Welcome back. 2 weeks remain until the official start of summer, yet thermometers are already skyrocketing into the triple digits across the West. It's due to a heat dome. Julia Vargas Jones has more on why excessive heat is so concerning this early in the year.
The hots are getting hotter and the wets are getting wetter.
A heat dome is on track to usher in the hottest day of the year in the western U.S. so far. Excessive heat warnings are in effect for millions in California, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona.
Those who are working outside, those who have disabilities, those who are vulnerable or isolated, heat can present very real dangers.
Yet it is a danger that some underestimate. In 2023, Maricopa County, Arizona officials reported 645 heat-related deaths, the deadliest on record.
extreme heat, especially extreme humid heat, is really kind of a silent killer. You don't think about a heat wave as being some sort of visually dramatic weather event in the same sense that a hurricane or a wildfire or a tornado might be, but they actually kill a lot more people.
Already this year, multiple heat-related deaths have been recorded, including 4 in El Paso, Texas last weekend. The heat's unprecedented trail of death this year has scorched India and Mexico, and hotter air and oceans fueled rainfall and catastrophic floods globally. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres sounded the alarm on the sweltering impacts of climate change.
We are playing Russian roulette with our planet. And we need an exit ramp off the highway to climate hell.
Records from the EU Climate Monitoring Service show every single month from June 2023 to May 2024 was the hottest such month on record.
Our planet is trying to tell us something, but we don't seem to be listening.
And as the temperatures start to rise, so can the number of emergency room visits for heat-related illness. Between May and September last year, data from the CDC showed the number of ER visits for heat illnesses substantially increased across several U.S. regions when compared to the same months of the 5 previous years, especially among adults between the ages of 18 and 64. Those illnesses can be dangerous, even deadly, which is why it's important to know the signs.
The most patients that we see that deal with severe heat illness, like I said, primarily heat stroke, are usually more elderly patients with underlying health conditions, or sometimes even young children that aren't put in a safe environment.
Now, one of the most dangerous heat-related illnesses is heat exhaustion, which features signs of heavy sweating, nausea, muscle cramps, fatigue or weakness, and dizziness, just to name a few symptoms. Get medical help right away if the symptoms last longer than an hour or get worse, or if you are throwing up. The most serious condition in high temperatures is heat stroke. Pretty bearable temperatures here. Meteorologist Jacob Madison now with our first warn forecast. Jacob?
Yeah, we're going to continue to see temperatures actually a little bit below average for the next several days, but we are expecting some warmer temperatures before the end of the 10-day forecast. Now, looking at the 3 things you need to know, as I mentioned, we're going to remain below average through about Sunday or Monday, but conditions are going to be very nice. Highs will be in the lower 70s, especially Friday and Sunday. It'll be nice. Saturday, though, we are expecting some rain, but the good news is that we aren't expecting rain for the entire day. Now, as we look at future track, we're going to remain dry throughout the night and tomorrow. In fact, we're going to see plenty of sunshine, especially early in the day for your Friday. Maybe a few clouds in the evening, but otherwise we're not going to see much tomorrow. Now, as we get into Saturday, here comes that line of showers. It's mostly going to impact our area during the morning, and we could see some pockets of heavy rain, but we're mostly talking about light to moderate rain, and we also aren't going to see a lot of thunderstorms. Can't rule out a thunderstorm or 2, but they're not going to be as widespread as some of the previous days we've had, and the severe weather risk is just about 0. Now, this will clear out during the late morning into the early afternoon. Eastern skies will see the rain a bit later, and throughout the afternoon, we're only expecting some very isolated sprinkles. Not going to see a lot of rain afternoon for Saturday, and then the dry conditions are expected to continue for your Sunday as well. So total precipitation will be very light. We're only going to see about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch at most, maybe a little bit more for a few locations off to the west, but in general, this won't be a huge issue. But if you have any Saturday morning plans, just be aware that there could be some rain. In fact, rain does look pretty likely for southern Wisconsin, at least briefly. Now, looking at the temperature forecast, this is for Friday. We are going to see very nice conditions with highs in the lower 70s and plenty of sunshine. And then looking at the weekend forecast, we are going to see that rain Saturday morning, but Saturday afternoon should be fairly nice with highs in the upper 60s. Might be a little chilly on Saturday, considering there's not going to be a lot of sunshine in the afternoon, but there will be sunshine for Sunday. Highs will be in the lower 70s, and these temperatures are below average for this time of the year. But looking at the 10-day forecast, these temperatures are expected to warm up by the time we get to next weekend. Father's Day is looking a little bit warm, and it's also expected to be humid. Now, we do have a few chances of storms by the time we get there, but at this point, we aren't really sure exactly which day will be the most we'll see the most thunderstorms, but we are expecting consistent rain to return by then. But until then, we're only going to see some brief showers, as I mentioned, Saturday morning, but then again for Tuesday night. Other than that, we're looking very dry through the end of next work week. By the time we get to next weekend, though, we are seeing a little bit more rainfall, and as I mentioned, temperatures are going to warm up slowly as we head into the end of next week. Now looking at first warn traffic, there are a few slowdowns, a small slowdown on the westbound Beltline just to the west of the 151. And there's also a slowdown on the eastbound Beltline as you approach the interstate. Also a brief slowdown on the Interstate 39 northbound just north of the Beltline. But nothing as dramatic as what we've seen a few times over the last week or so. Looking specifically at the times, still in the green for westbound, in the yellow for eastbound. So in general, from University Avenue to the interstate, it's still not too bad. And Sun Prairie to downtown is also in the green at this hour.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Just ahead of you, own a large SUV, or maybe you're shopping for one. You want to see results from the latest crash test. Which ones did well? Which ones need some improvement? That's next at 5.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Get solar and get saving with Olson Solar Energy in the Madison area.
When you're talking to someone and you call someone at Olson Solar, it's not someone in Utah, it's not someone in California, it is someone local right here. By doing that, we control the entire process. So we control the project management, we control the design, we control the installation, the electric, the hookup, permitting, and that really sets us apart.
Stop into our location near you. Learn more at olsonsolarenergy.com or give us a call.
We wanted to be able to enjoy all 4 seasons, and patio enclosures helped us make that dream come true.
The one and only patio enclosures.
All the best parts of summer are here at Summerfest. 600 artists, 12 stages, 3 unforgettable weekends. Summerfest, presented by American Family Insurance. Find tickets, lineup, and more at summerfest.com.
I'm gonna take real good care of your windows.
You need the experts at Feldco.
Right now at Feldco, get 2 windows for the price of 1.
Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
We've been everywhere. We've coated patios, pool decks, basements, hospitals, warehouses, walkways, man caves, churches, schools, airports, hotels, and garages. If it's concrete, TSR will coat it.
This is me, and this was my stubborn body fat. My name's Adrian, and Sonobello changed my life.
Sonobello is America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist, and they permanently removed my body fat in just 1 visit.
After having 2 kids, my body, it changed a lot. I tried everything to lose the fat, but nothing seemed to work.
Sonobello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently on your stomach, back, chin, and more.
I've seen such dramatic results. My tummy is gone, my double chin is gone, and my hourglass shape is back. This was the mommy makeover that I deserved.
Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. Call 1-888-357-3263 or go to sonobello.com.
Senator Baldwin says I'm not from Wisconsin. But this was my childhood home. Graduated East High. Became a Badger in '86, where I've had my company for over 20 years.
And this is where we live. It's our family home.
I'm a 4th-generation Wisconsinite. It made me who I am. If Senator Baldwin's not going to be honest with you about where I'm from, what makes you think she'll be honest with you about anything? I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back. First time unemployment claims are up, according to new data from the U.S. Department of Labor today. The new report shows 229,000 Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week, which is 8,000 more claims than were filed the week before. The number exceeded economists' expectations and is the highest weekly claims total in a month. But the number of weekly claims is still lower than pre-pandemic levels. There are new crash test results for 3 of the nation's top-selling large SUVs. All 3 had room to improve, but 2, the Ford Expedition and the Chevy Tahoe, earned low marks in several key safety categories, including crash protection. Chris Van Cleve has more on the findings.
The latest crash tests from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety focus on large SUVs, finding the best-selling Chevrolet Tahoe and Ford Expedition fell short in several categories and underperformed in a front crash test more than 90% of new vehicles have scored well on since 2021.
Bigger doesn't necessarily equal safer.
That is right. What these tests have told us is that having a bigger, heavier vehicle does not always mean safer.
IIHS Vice President Raul Arbelais.
What we've seen over the years is that when manufacturers do not perform well in these tests, they quickly pull their engineering and design teams together, make the changes.
While the Jeep Wagoneer earned a top safety pick for its overall performance, in new tests focused on crash protections for rear seat passengers, none scored well. IIHS found all three showed a risk of chest injuries in a collision. The Chevy's pedestrian collision avoidance system underperformed, failing to stop before impact in some tests and earned a marginal rating, while its headlights scored poor. All three earned a good rating in side impact crash tests. Jeep, in a statement, cheered its top safety pick ranking. Ford says the Expedition meets or exceeds regulatory requirements and is the only vehicle in the segment to achieve a 5-star overall vehicle score from safety regulators. And General Motors says it's confident in the safety of the Chevrolet Tahoe and will look to incorporate these latest findings into our new vehicle designs. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
And we'll be right back with a final check of your firstborn forecast.
Why choose between that new deck you've been wanting and that vacation you've been dreaming about? Get both. A deck that outlasts wood 3 to 1 and up to a 7-day vacation on one of the top cruise lines or at one of our hundreds of resorts with no blackout date restrictions. Call now or visit the website for your new deck today.
Hi, I'm Emmy Fink with Buzzed in Madison. We love the month of June because we get to celebrate the dairy industry and all of our great dairy farmers around this area. Join us all month. Blue Star Dairy, that's who we're going to see first, right here on WISC TV3.
You want it, we got it, it's all here. Rosemont it. You want the night lights, the bright lights, I'll put you in the spotlight light. Yeah. You want style, well now I'll show you where you gotta be. Tell you what you gotta see. Oh, it's gonna make you smile. You want it, we got it, it's all here. Rosemont.
Summertime fun is in full swing in Rosemont. From grand slams to hot jams. To Rosemont it your way, start at rosemont.com.
Rosemont.
Here's to the farm and fleet dads, the ones who work hard and get the job done right, the ones who take pride in what they do and take the time to pass it on. This Father's Day, get your dad a gift he'll love. Like men's Ariat t-shirts, buy 2, get 1 free. New at Blaine's, this Charbroil gas grill, $209.99. Save $20 on this Simpson pressure washer, $399. Plus, a Blaine's Farm and Fleet gift card makes the perfect Father's Day gift.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Want to instantly look more attractive and years younger? The solution is whiter teeth. But you love coffee and tea, maybe even wine or smoking. It's time you discovered Power Swabs.
The first time I tried it, my husband was so excited. And he said, I can't believe how white your teeth are. From that point on, I've been sold.
Power Swabs are guaranteed to whiten your teeth up to 2 shades after the first application. After 5-minute daily treatments for the next week, your teeth will be an average of 6 shades whiter. Call, go online, or scan the code on your screen right now.
We're looking for 200 homeowners this month interested in getting new landscape borders. Our borders are laid in one piece using a high-performance concrete mix, and we add fibers and steel cable to maximize strength and durability. Our cutting-edge materials and process ensure that your borders will not fade, discolor, or disconnect, and will look beautiful for years to come. And all of our borders are covered by our extensive lifetime warranty. Boost your curb appeal with easy-to-mow-around, long-lasting, beautiful landscape borders. Visit the website or call the number for your new borders today.
Hi, I'm Fiona Rataj with the League of Women Voters of Dane County. Here are 3 things to know. Make sure you are registered to vote at your current address. You can check or register at myvote.wi.gov. If you do not have a Wisconsin driver's license or state ID, you can register to vote with your municipal clerk by completing the registration form on MyVote. Absentee ballots must be requested.
3 things to know, part of News 3 Now's 3 Cares Community Impact.
Coming up tonight on the CBS Evening News, our reporting from Normandy, France, on the 80th anniversary of D-Day, where dozens of world leaders gathered to honor the sacrifice and bravery of those who turned the tides of World War II. Plus, our interview with a 101-year-old veteran who rarely spoke about surviving that historic day until now. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Finally tonight, Flavor Flav has a surreal new job. A hype man of the U.S. women's water polo team, the clock-wearing musician, came by the gig spontaneously. He saw an Instagram post from Captain Maggie Steffens asking for more support ahead of this year's Paris Olympics. Flav replied and said he would use all of his relationships and resources to help. Steffens says the effort is not as much about financial help, but more about simply hyping up water polo. The sport struggles to attract audiences outside of the Olympic Games. As a hype man, Flav is planning to be poolside. We'll have to look for him. He'll be cheering them on in Paris. Let's go to Jacob. One final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to see temperatures very comfortable the next couple of days, especially if you aren't a fan of the warmer temperatures like myself. But for those of you that want to see warmer temperatures, the good news is that they are going to show up at the end of the 10-day forecast. So highs will be in the lower 70s, maybe upper 60s Saturday through about Monday. And then they're going to slowly warm up to the lower 80s by the time we get to Thursday and Friday. We could be talking about some areas in the lower 90s by next weekend. And we do have some thunderstorm chances. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they are severe, but at this point we don't have any alert days because very far out, a lot can change between now and then. But warmer temperatures are coming for those that want it.
All right, we're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.